Buried is a very curious map that seems to have aged like fine wine, especially when compared to the other Victus maps in existence at this time when it came out. Upon its initial release, Buried was not well liked at all. In fact, being a long-time player myself, I remember this map being placed on a good few of the popular top 5 worst zombie maps of all time at the time. It was also panned at the time for being too easy and following up Mob of the Dead with a story and characters that had a lot less interest in it. Welcome back to the Zombies Retrospective series. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about my favourite Zombies map of all time, Buried. My hope with this episode is to just raise some awareness to the map that has just gotten better over time, in my opinion, and hopefully just deliver a fun perspective on the map that some of you might not have shared initially. This map is fantastic in my eyes, and I hope by the end of this episode I can convince at least a few of you to go back and give the map another chance to shine. Buried itself is a map of pure fun sandbox experiences, with a wealth of innovations and improvements on the other Victus maps on Black Ops 2. We have improvements to the buildable system with additional buildables to discover. The bank and weapon lockers return unchanged, but with some new abilities due to the additions made on Buried, namely your little friend that can change the power ups. The Witch's House is a fantastic way to get free perks and an excellently designed enemy. The pack a punch is simple and fun, requiring some setup, but most players will stumble upon it naturally as they progress for the first time playing. And finally, the Easter egg on this map is also great. Fun and challenging, really putting you and a group of friends to the limits towards the end, which is exactly how an Easter egg should be. Let's break down some of these fantastic aspects of the map in a deep dive and really explain how these features enhance the map into one of the all-time greats. Starting with the buildables, this map adds two brand new amazing buildables that are, for a specific playstyle, a camper player's dream. The subsurface resonator is an awesome sonic boom creating device that creates a thundergun-like explosion every few seconds, sending the zombies flying when you have a turbine powering it. This is great for camping in the narrow spaces, especially near Juggernog. This strategy would not be complete without the addition of buildable number 2, the Head Chopper, a saw-like device that attaches to the wall and slices outwards, chopping the heads off any zombies that walk near. These two new buildables are fantastic, innovative, and fun to use, most importantly. The return of the Tramplestein as a transportation device and Trap really allows the players to diversify how they can play this map and makes camping a somewhat viable strategy for the first time since the end of Black Ops 1. These buildables have also been improved massively in the creation process by a mechanic that we'll discuss much later on. Overall, they've been improved in both utility and acquisition, making the system finally see what I believe is its true intended form. Sadly, a bit late for many players, but I am still glad we got to experience one map with what I think was how buildables were meant to be used. The design and layout of this map is also fantastic in my opinion. Not only is it an awesome abandoned ghost cowboy town located underground, but it also strays from a lot of tired and overused core zombie map design, which as I continue to play these maps, I appreciate the little breaks from the loop format more and more as it becomes really tiresome. This map breaks away from the loop structure entirely, laying out more like a small township rather than an area where you can loop from one end to the other. There are ways to circumnavigate these blockades and turn it into a loop, but this map typically is not a loop, or when it is, it hides it very well. The aesthetics of this map are also out of this world and unlike anything we have seen up until this point. Overall, the layout and design and aesthetics of this map are stellar and deserve to be praised over and over again. I would like to quickly talk about the map's boss type enemy, which is the Witches. This boss enemy lives in the foreboding mansion that overlooks the town. You can see the witch looking down at you from the top window in this eerie shot of just creepy, she's overlooking everything. The eerie tone of the map changes when you enter, going from this Wild West inspired area to something more gothic and horror focused. The area inside the house was so creepy to me when I was younger, and while a lot of that is lost on me now that I am much older, I do have to say that the witches themselves still do have a rather creepy design. There's also the unique aspect of how these enemies interact with you. Instead of just outright damaging you, the witches instead steal your money every time they hit you until you hit 0 points, and then they will begin to damage you. I prefer this, to be honest, over weak enemies like the Novas or the Hellhounds, as they pose little to no threat and are more than likely just nuisances. The Witches, on the other hand, allow you to feel that unease that you can quickly lose all of your cash that you've saved up. Of course, the reward has been upped for making it through the Witch's House. Upon completion, you gain access to a free perk, and this is not capped at 4. This is one of the easiest methods to get a free perk ever introduced. You can also enhance this by completing a small side quest with the ballistic knives in the bar. Overall, the Witches are a great addition to the map, and they help with the great flow that the map already possesses. I have somehow gotten this far into talking about Buried without mentioning the greatest asset this map has to its disposal, and this is of course your little buddy in his jail cell. When you spawn into the map, you can enter the jail cell and give the main man himself some booze. Doing so allows you to break the barrier and run free. This also gives you a large number of points each time you do it. The further away you are from the barrier that you break, the more points you get. This is such a massive gameplay bonus for the map and leads to some real mastery. I know I can get fully set up on round 1 without using the bank or weapons locker, only utilising the booze to break barriers and get points and draw with the chalk drawings. There is a serious learning curve and skill gap when it comes to the booze, but when you get the hang of it, really, it becomes one of the best aspects of the map. Of course, on the other side, you have the candy. The candy is great for utility. For example, using it in front of the mystery box locks the mystery box in place. In front of a buildable bench, he instantly builds one of the buildables. In front of a crawler, and he will hold it and prevent it from dying out. The learning curve and discoverability of these additions and these mechanics add to the map cannot be understated. They add a level of mastery to the game that just isn't really present on any of the other Victus maps in this game. The other map's main focus is all on buildables and traversal, whereas this map has that, but also some amazing features that allow you to that you will begin to uncover when you truly begin to explore the map on a deeper level. Adding on to this aspect of exploration and skill, there is of course the map's fantastic wonder weapon, the Paralyzer. It is one of my favourite wonder weapons of all time, allowing you to slow down and disintegrate the zombies. It is perfect for big crowds, whether you are camping or training. It has infinite ammo, with the only drawback being the damage is not infinite and there is a cooldown when you can use it, but it's basically an improved version of the jet gun. That's the way I have always looked at it. This of course is slightly improved when you pack a punch it cools down faster. The best part about this weapon, though, is its utility. Not only can you use it to slow down enemies, but you can also use it to fly across the map. No, I'm not kidding. You can actually fly across the map using this gun. It's one of the coolest aspects of the map and really opens up routes that you wouldn't even think about normally that are only accessible with this gun. And it's not even that rare in the mystery box. I think in the gameplay I get it on my 3rd hit, which is insane. This is also the map where the Ray Gun Mark II, this map's second wonder weapon, is introduced. And if you bought this map pack, it was retroactively added to the older maps for you to obtain. I love the Ray Gun Mark II, based purely on its design. The damage is also improved over the basic ray gun, but the main appeal to me is the design. It looks really clean. The burst is cool. It's a stellar gun that I'm glad it's added, and I'm awarding the points to this map for it being the first map that it's added in. We also have a new addition to the perks, which is Vulture Aid. It's a great utility perk that provides respite and resources to the player actively while they play, without really having to do anything else other than actively just playing the game. I also think this is probably a prototype idea of where we end up with Cold War, with the salvage and the junk and the not the crafting, but you can find ammo and armor and points and stuff like that on the floor, and they done this here with Vulture Aid first, and then I feel like they finally melded that all together in Cold War. Finally, I would like to talk about the story and the Easter egg. The characters continue their journey and are again asked to pick a side between Maxis and Richthofen. And for the first time in this series, I believe this dual Easter egg mechanic actually worked. Like, I enjoy both sides. I think both sides serve their purpose, unlike the first two maps. Each Easter egg has its own unique steps that stand out and show the differences. The final step is notorious for being one of the most frustrating Call of Duty Zombies Easter egg history if you're doing it on co-op. The marksman step with the little sharpshooters is one of the toughest steps to do if you do not have a coordinated team. I don't really see this as a negative though, because you do really feel great when you finally beat it. I know I did, and it makes the reward feel so much more worthwhile when you finally do beat it. Although it can be frustrating when you have someone that you know is messing up, but you just can't prove it. But you know, you can't really, that's more to the players and not really the game's fault. So you can't, I'm not gonna fault the game for that. I would like to talk about the super Easter egg, of course, where if you do all of the Easter eggs on the previous Victus maps for the one side that you complete Buried on, you get an expanded ending. These are very fun additions to the game that really do make complete all of the Easter eggs on the previous maps feel worthwhile. And the rewards of new dialogue and a perkaholic with the 4-gun mule kick is amazing and makes stress feel totally worth it of bothering and doing all this. It's something I absolutely will go back and do again. The endings are both super impactful and a great way to cap off this stage of the story as we move into the Blundelverse coming up next. Overall, Buried is a phenomenal map with little to no negatives or downsides besides the obligatory it's easy. I mean, it is fair to say that the setup on this map is very easy. If, and that's a big if, you choose to engage with these systems, though, you can still have a perfectly normal game of zombies if that is the way you want to experience it. This to me is the shining star of Buried. The opportunity to explore new ways of play while also allowing players that want their tried and tested gameplay formula to still exist. Buried is a stellar map that has so much innovation and fun in the features it introduces that it's tragic this map did not receive the attention it deserved when it released. It's a fantastic map and it is 100% deserving of its S ranking in one of my top 5 spots. Will it stay there? Who knows, but I am very confident in placing it there now with what's up there at the minute, and it is leagues above anything below S. It's a phenomenal map. You really do need to go back and play it again. It's so much fun. Great. It's a fantastic map. I'm going completely off script here, but it is a fantastic map. Now, next up we are moving on to Origins, and I have to say this is one that I think will be a beefy one, especially if I do a breakdown similar to the Mob of the Dead of all of the steps and stuff like that. I think this is going to be a beefy one. I am, of course, sorry for how long this has taken to get out. It's been stressful. I've had a lot of thesis prep for my masters at the minute, and I'm being called in for extra shifts at work on my days off when I used to work on the videos, so that's kind of where we're at the minute. But I am planning on getting another video out before Black Ops 6 launches after this. It won't be the Origins one, but it will be another Zombies video, so keep an eye out for that. The series will, of course, go on a small hiatus during the launch of Black Ops 6, as I'm going to be making videos and stuff like that about Black Ops 6. But once we get into the swing of things and things slow down with that, we are going to be straight back with Origins. So if you do enjoy, leave a comment, like, and subscription, and I will see you guys in the next one.